Hi everybody, my name's Tracy and I did my paper on Hemingway's Hills Like White Elephants. Steps in researching Hemingway's Hills Like White Elephants, I looked into his biography, the 20th century, awards that he had won, defining contemporary literature and modernism, and also breaking down the meaning behind Hemingway's metaphors. Into the very beginning of Ernest Miller Hemingway. He was born July 21st, 1899 in Sacro, now Oak Park, Illinois. His parents raised him in the suburbs of Chicago. Hemingway's family spent a huge amount of time in northern Michigan. This was not a surprise to hear, seeing that their home city was overpopulated. Michigan was a great escape for him and his family. Hemingway learned the love of outdoors and embarked on hunting and fishing trips. During Hemingway's high school years, he enjoyed working for the school paper. Hemingway redefined the 20th century literature. Sorry. As soon as he picked up his pen and started embarking on storytelling. From his early work at the Kansas Star, he learned short sentences along with short paragraphs. Hemingway was able to put such compassion and simplicity into his writings. This talent of writing had followed him throughout his career. He said, "Those were the best rules I've learned for the business of writing. I've never forgotten them." Hemingway won the Nobel Prize in 1954 for his mastery of the art of narrative, most recently demonstrated in The Old Man and the Sea. Also for the influence that he has exerted on contemporary style. Contemporary literature is defined as literature written after World War II through the current day. Genres in this area include novels and poetry, short stories, and slam poetry. Authors during this time often wrote about events going on around them. Did not matter how brutal they had been, contemporary literature continues to grow as of today. This style of writing really defines our history. Writing about our surroundings and happenings after the World War II helps today's generation understand the true stories of our history. Modernism is an artistic movement that began in Europe, eventually reaching the United States during a time of change, confusion, discovery, invention, and war. 1914 to 1945, modernism is American literature reflected the unease of those grappling with a changed post-war world. So now we're going to go ahead and look into some of the lines Hemingway used in Hills Like White Elephants and the metaphors that I believe were met when he wrote these into his book. Sorry. Okay, so my first one was when Jig is standing at the train station looking at one side, and on that side there was no shade, no trees, and the station was between two lines of rails in the sun. The country was brown and dry. This really shows the I'm sorry. That the American man and Jig's relationship. The American man wants nothing more than for her to have the operation. If they go through with this abortion or not, the relationship is still at its end, therefore showing that this baby and their relationship is like the land of dryness and no life left if she goes through with the abortion. The other side, when the girl stood up and walked to the end of the station, across the other side were fields of grain and trees along with banks of embro. As you can see, that shows a land full of growth and alive with fields of grain. This could be a portrait of Jig's fertility, alive and growing. Such as the river represents life, Jig is imagining what it would be like to be a mother to this child. The shadow of a cloud moved across the field of grain, and she saw the river through the trees. So when I thought about this one for a while, to me, the shadow in the seam could be a metaphor on how the society in this era would have frowned upon Jig for having a baby out of wedlock. This is clearly showing two sides of the train tracks. This contributes to the indecision of Jig on whether she will have the abortion or not. Another one that I found interesting was when it was said, and I quote, "The girl looked at the beaded curtain. They've painted something on it," she said. "What does it say?" Notice she can't read the words on the curtain. This symbolizes that the couple cannot communicate. They clearly speak the same language, yet they're so lost in their own words. Towards the end, when they're looking over at the bags, it said, and I quote, "That's all we do, isn't it? Look at things and try new drinks." Here you can see Jig's over with her old lifestyle. She wants more with her relationship and the American man. She's ready to settle down. She's ready to have a family. Jig is really wanting that happily ever after. Later on, it said, "But look at the bags against the wall of the station. There were labels on them from all the hotels where they had spent nights." This symbolizes really show the true feelings the American man's going through. The man seems like such a jerk with no care of Jig's feelings. While this could be accurate, this shows what many men might go through after finding out that they might be a dad. The American man fears his free lifestyle will be gone. A child would hinder this for him. The American man would no longer be able to travel. He desperately tries to convince Jig to abort. The man wants nothing but to escape from his problem. Lastly, the most noticeable one I think we can all clearly see is in the title, Hills Like White Elephants. The elephant's a metaphor of an unwanted gift, white elephant. Say if you were at a gathering and there were gifts passed out, there's always that one gift that you're like, no, I'm not really digging that, or you're in the room with a group of people and there's one person that maybe wasn't invited. It's quote unquote, oh, the white elephant. Ugh. So to that, the white elephant is the gift that the American man doesn't want. It's an unwanted pregnancy, unwanted child. Um, Hills Like White Elephants had one more metaphor that I had missed actually during my research, but looking at the title and contemplating it more and more, the word hill is clearly stated. And to me, after a while, it really stood out to me that if you focus on it, it's kind of like the bump of a land. I mean, well, it is a bump of a land. I'm sorry. A hill is a bump, which really analyzing that, it kind of shows that's it's pregnancy. Um, the hill represents her growing belly. If she does not go through with the abortion, she soon will have a baby bump, like a hill of her own. Lastly, I just want to say that I've really enjoyed looking up Hemingway and learning about his writing styles. Um, I learned a lot. I really like his writing styles. Ernest Miller Hemingway was one of the most influenced writers of the 20th century. Hemingway has often been described as a master of dialogue, and most readers would agree. Upon being first introduced to his writing, he writes with so many symbols and metaphors. This could have acted as a trigger for the reader to be confused, yet instead he leaves the reader guessing and fascinated. This ultimately makes the reader come to his or her own thoughts of how the story is going to go. Readers either hate puzzles or love them. Hemingway's work inspires always the love for them. The symbolism in Hills Like White Elephant was a success. It couldn't have been written any other way. Ernest Miller Hemingway again was born on July 21st, 1899, and sadly passed away due to suicide on July 2nd, 1961. Thanks everybody for hanging in there and seeing this through with me. Have a great day.